Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us at the MarketSite studio, we have Traasdahl, founder and CEO of Crisp, to discuss how retailers can use technology and data to overcome revenue challenges. Ari, it's great to have you with us. Welcome back to TradeTalks.
Great, thanks.
Let's talk about the retail environment in general. How is the consumer performing in what's been a high inflationary environment?
Great, yes. Obviously, a lot of retailers are coming off of the high of a pandemic with increased sales and empty shelves, but now we're kind of seeing the backswing of that with a lot of oversupply and consumers that are looking for lower prices and also an inflation environment. So retailers have two kinds of retailers now, the ones that do great and the ones that don't. In the ones that do great category, you can look at Walmart, right? So they will launch their advertising program, which now is a $3 billion business for them. And so the ones that do well in this data-driven, advertising-related, it takes a lot of effort for a retailer to get good at that. You have to change technology, you have to change data, you have to change your culture. Now you have to sell a product versus buying a product to the supplier. So if you get good at that, I think this is best leading indicator of who's going to do great with supply chain and inflation and changing consumer demand, because it's so hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, Walmart, it's very well known, they went through a massive, massive transformation in the past decade. Would you say that retail supply chains are back to normal?
You know, they're not. They will always be this kind of constant state of imbalance. But we've also seen kind of what retailers do when they have the advertising and the marketing programs, but they also start with data sharing programs. So, and Walmart is actually a good candidate for a good example of that as well, because they have a data sharing program called Luminate. So Luminate is for all of the different other departments, so the sales department, the procurement department, the forecasting department, the ones that want to understand shopper marketing, etc. So we're seeing that these advanced retailers are truly generating data revenues and also helping the brand community by connecting them much better together. So I think the retailers that are good at those two things are also the ones that are going to be great at navigating through this environment.
So how are retailers using technology and data to overcome those revenue challenges?
Yeah, I think so. Amazon is kind of the other end of the spectrum, right, where you have 60% of their revenue comes from non-core business. So that is advertising revenue, it is cloud revenue, and it is data sharing revenue, et cetera, and they can use that to lower their consumer prices. And that is kind of rippling through the whole industry now, where traditional retailers need to understand that how they're going to monetize and not only just sell products, but also need to sell subscription services and data services. And these type of businesses drop straight to the bottom line. So it's also not a 3-4% margin business, it's an 80-90-105% margin business. So the retailers that really embrace that are the winners of the future.
So it sounds like they're really leveraging it to help with inventory control rather than having to discount, to your point, because that's what's going to cut into the margin. So if they're able to manipulate it a bit on the inventory end, exactly. It sounds like that's the approach that they're taking.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a double win for a retailer. One, they make money on the programs because the brands used to buy this from third-party companies before. Now that revenue goes to the retailer, but the bigger impact is on their core economics, right? So if the product is on shelf and if I don't have too much inventory, if I'm able to get the right product on the shelf, etc., that requires a collaboration between the largest brands in the world and the retailers, and that happens through this data sharing program. So it's a double win for a retailer.
So how is Crisp helping the retail sector with supply chain management and helping brands to have more profitable promotions?
Yeah, so that's kind of what we help with now. There's so much data that's coming out of the retailer, and so many retailer programs, and the brands, some of the largest brands we work with, 500-600 of the large brands in the world, they need to be able to now absorb all of this data so that they can use it across all of the different departments and all of the different systems, for instance. So they would want to have a true North Star of data. They want to have this into their forecasting systems, into their supply management system. They want to have it into their modern cloud infrastructure and into old legacy systems, etc. So it's a big kind of shift for the retail industry here that's becoming much more collaboration around data, which is win-win for everyone. But in order to have that, you have to have a real technology that allows for data sharing.
So for example, Hormel uses crisp, and I mean, that's an entirely different business because they have a limited shelf life for real. I mean, it's food.
Yep.
So it's not even just, clothing and discretionary products. There's food companies that can use it as well.
Yes, absolutely. It's across all the categories, particularly relevant for food because you have the expiration challenge and you want to make sure that you sell the product before it goes bad, obviously, for that generates food waste, which is not good for anyone. But any category benefits from it. We work with Sanofi, another one, put allergy medicines on the shelf, right? They want to understand that the shelves are stocked. The retailer loses money if the product is not on shelf, and the brand also loses money. So they are kind of monitoring if the product on shelf is it selling, and if not, I'm reallocating the inventory so that the product is there when the consumer arrives.
All right, Ari, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.